So, I'm gonna go ahead and call the homeless hero from Lucerne.
Greetings. Now, I don't usually like to be too public, but after seeing some of the people that were being displaced from the other shelters, I realized that this is a thing that would devastate so many people.
That's right.
And I really had no choice. I said, I gotta say something. I gotta put myself out there. And so I wrote something. I'm gonna read it to you, and I just want everyone to listen clearly. Trauma on top of trauma. Today we stand near Gracie Mansion, the home of New York City's mayor. While normally I put my words in writing, I've chosen to join those who have come to protest against the decision made by the mayor to displace thousands of people, including families, people with disabilities, women, children, men, people suffering from substance use disorder, and others with mental health issues. In the mayor's virtual address to the city, he stated that, I went and saw for myself on the Upper West Side last week, and what I saw was not acceptable and had to be addressed. My first thought, and I'm going to be honest, was, well, damn. Has the mayor visited 125th Street and Lexington Avenue?
Yes.
Has he stepped foot in any of the congregate shelters that his administration gives so much money to?
No.
What does he think of those conditions?
He doesn't know.
Then my anxiety kicked in. I felt traumatized at being dehumanized, moved around like pawns on a chessboard. It disturbed me that this mayor seemed to reflect the sentiments of those who have espoused racist, hateful, and unwarranted views about a vulnerable and voiceless population. A population that was easy prey for the media's exploitation and dehumanization.
That's right.
Now let's be fair. The city made a huge mistake trying to drop us into a community without notifying the community in advance and securing their cooperation and support. This action led to those of us who are vulnerable and voiceless to be the subject of some of the vilest accusations ever attributed to the homeless population of New York City. When the news broke that we would be moved, I walked the halls of the Lucerne and into the neighborhood and saw some of the strongest individuals I've come to know showing fear, confusion, and disorientation. The trauma could be seen on their faces. Some of them spoke of being triggered to relapse after months of sobriety. Some were experiencing emotional trauma, and others wanted to immediately use their substance of choice. Even I, the homeless hero, had to send an SOS out to the director of Project Renewal's Recovery Center, Carly, who's here with us today, to indicate that I was in crisis. The words of the mayor brought back thoughts of traumatic experiences from my past, having been a victim of this city's inability to do right by me as a young child growing up in the foster care system. I spoke to other residents who felt similar, and we all agreed that this was like trauma on top of trauma.
Yeah.
For the sake of clarity, let's understand that trauma, according to the American Psychological Association, is an emotional response to a terrible event. Immediately after the event, shock and denial are typical. Longer-term reactions include unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, strained relationships, and even physical symptoms like headaches and nausea. I say trauma on top of trauma because here we are in the middle of a pandemic, in a very dangerous situation, and trying to find ways to save lives, yet the mayor has chosen to further endanger us by using his power to inflict harm on us in such a way that it would trigger many of us who suffer from substance use disorder and mental health issues. During this pandemic, the city's response created an environment where, at one point, the homeless population in its shelters' mortality rate was higher than the overall population in New York City. Imagine the trauma we experienced during that time in those congregate shelters. So today, we're dealing with trauma on top of trauma. Now, without deviating from my point, I want to say that I respect the desire of the mayor and others to honor a movement and paint a street to show that Black Lives Matter. I understand the power of symbolism. Painting BLM on a street is a symbol that I respect. But I would humbly submit that it is a symbol without substance coming from this mayor. It's the equivalent of politics without economics, of emancipation without reparations. The mayor said, and I quote, "When we say Black Lives Matter, there is no more American statement. There's no more patriotic statement because there's no America without Black America." His words, we are acknowledging the truth in ourselves and in America. By saying Black Lives Matter, we are righting a wrong. Let me say that again. The mayor said, by saying Black Lives Matter, we are righting a wrong.
True that.
Do y'all catch that? Who got that? That mayor thinks that to utter a few words, you are going to right a wrong. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. We don't care about what you say.
That's right.
We care about what you do. It's your actions that mean something, not a symbol without substance. I know some of you are wondering, is this guy at the right protest? Well, quickly, I'm going to refer to the Coalition for the Homeless website, where they indicate that, well, in New York City, approximately 57% of heads of household in shelters are Black. 32% are Hispanic, Latinx. 7% are white. 3% are of unknown race or ethnicity, which basically means that the Black and brown demographic dominates the shelters. So the policies that take place affect us. Therefore, everything that I'm saying is relative to all the other things that we're fighting for today. It's about equity, economic equity, political equity, justice equity, health equity, education equity, and any other equity you could talk about. In closing, I want to say something to both groups on the Upper West Side. One group wants to support us, and I'm so grateful for that. We all are grateful for that. Your support has helped me and us process all of this trauma in a healthy way. And I'm sure I'm speaking for most of the residents, if not all of them, and the staff at Project Renewal. I thank you all and encourage you to continue fighting for us. We need your continued support. Now, for that group who have an issue with us being here, some would rather us be moved. I want to acknowledge that I understand your sentiments and respect all of your concerns. I've not only advocated for us, but believe it or not, I've advocated for you as well. Why? Because this city didn't just do an injustice to us, it did it to the overall community. I want you to know that I have heard you, Project Renewal has heard you, the Recovery Center has heard you, your local leaders have heard you, and others have heard you, and we have been working nonstop to accommodate you and make this a better experience for you and for us. On the basic level, I've been in many homes throughout my lifetime and slept on a whole bunch of couches too. Wherever I've gone, I was taught one thing: respect where you go. Respect where you go. When you in somebody's backyard, I don't care who it is, you have to respect that. So I identify that. And I don't care about someone's racist thought or someone's hateful speech. I do care about a person who is concerned about the quality of life in their neighborhood, as I would be whenever I get my own neighborhood. There's nothing wrong with that. But we have to work together. I ask of you, and I hope I can speak for my fellow residents, I ask that you give us the opportunity to show that despite our being homeless, we can do the right thing.
That's right.
Don't criminalize us. Don't dehumanize us. Let us all come together with both sides and make this thing work. It's a temporary thing and will not last forever. But we could have a more positive discussion and respect each other's humanity. And if we did that, then we could make a better experience for us all. We need all of y'all help. Now, finally, to the mayor, I hope you don't take any of this negative. I was taught that when truth comes, falsehood vanishes. My objective is just to tell it like it is. I am no different than anybody who's experiencing homelessness and who's going through all of this trauma. My hope is that you listen to what is being said today and begin to really think about the humanity of those you serve, whether rich or poor. We're all complaining about some of the decisions you are making. I would imagine it's not easy to run a city, but you have to work with everyone to get this right. You can't make rash decisions. You must be proactive and not reactive. Otherwise, you will be inflicting trauma on top of trauma. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.